Hey folks, this week was the first week of battle rounds on Season 9 of The Voice, and I know I'm almost a week late with this review, but I really can't stand the battle, so I was in no hurry to watch it, let alone review it, so probably until the live shows start, I'll just drop in over the weekends to review the battles and the knockouts. Okay, so this week was week 1. Adam Levine was bald as an egg this week. He had hair during rehearsals, but then it was gone by the time the battle started, and I don't think they ever really said why. Maybe they did, and I just wasn't paying attention. Who knows? Anyway, the first battle on Monday night was from Team Adam with Jordan Smith versus Regina Love. Now, Jordan was the guy that sang Chandelier, and remember they pretended like he sounded like a lady, even though he really didn't. And Regina, of course, is the DJ that was once signed to Evander Holyfield's failed label. We knew where this one was headed, didn't we? Adam ain't keeping nobody over 50 on his dang team. Not a freaking chance. Anyway, the song he gave them to duke it out with was Like I Can by Sam Smith. Almost no advice during rehearsal. Adam pointed out a couple of little things here and there just so it would look like he was doing something, and John Fogerty was basically his yes man, agreed with everything he said. I kind of liked Regina better during rehearsals, and I felt the same way when they hit the stage. Wasn't blown away by either of them, but I just thought his voice was a little unpleasant at times. We knew Adam was going to pick him though, so it was pointless. Lucky for Regina, Gwen Stefani likes to throw out them steals right out of the gate. She stole Regina, she'll probably drop her in the knockouts, but we'll see. Next up is Team Blake with Tyler Dickerson versus Zach Seabaugh. Now Tyler is the guy that got signed to a record label and then dropped. Remember, Blake pretended like he recognized him during the auditions? I didn't buy that for a nanosecond. And Zach, of course, is one of the many good-looking football players that decided to be a singer. The song Blake gave them for their battle was I'm Gonna Be Somebody by Travis Tritt. Now, remember during the auditions, Blake compared Tyler to Travis Tritt, so it seemed like he picked the song for him, but during rehearsal, it was pretty clear that Zach probably had the edge. Well, he sounded more country, and that always gives you the edge on Team Blake. They both did a decent job, but Zach was prettier and he sounded better, so no contest really. Blake went with Zach. Next up is Team Gwen with Ellie Lawrence versus Tim Atlas. Now, Ellie is one of Gwen's blue-haired quirky girls, and Tim, well, we don't know who he is since his audition was hacked to nothing. And we know what that usually means. Toodaloo, Tim. For their battle, Gwen gave them Sweater Weather, and during rehearsal, it was so funny watching Tim with Selena Gomez, because they kind of look like the same person, didn't they? Like if Tim shaved off his little boy whiskers and grew out his hair and started sleeping with Justin Bieber, he would be Selena Gomez. Anyway, they both sounded fine. I probably liked Tim a little bit better, because I couldn't understand a lot of what Smurfette was saying. No surprise that Gwen went with Ellie, though. And then Pharrell stole Tim. Probably won't survive the knockouts just like most of the Steelies, but we'll see. Next up is Team Pharrell with Celeste Betton versus Mark Hood. Now, Celeste is the gospel singer that auditioned with Love You I Do and only impressed Pharrell, and Mark got a 4-chair turn after singing Use Me. Pharrell ain't gonna drop no 4-chair turn, is he? So this was a no-brainer. The song Pharrell gave them was Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Missy Elliot said that it made her feel like she was back in the 70s, and I agree with that, but I don't think I meant it in a good way like she did. Pharrell picking them old, overdone songs again. I wasn't expecting much with it. They did a great job with it for what it was, but this is just another one of those songs that should be retired on the singing shows. I personally like Celeste better than Mark, but Pharrell went with Mark, and then nobody stole Celeste, even though they acted like it was one of the best battles they'd ever seen in the history of the show. And she probably was better than the other Steelies of the week, but what can you do? Next up is Team Adam again with Dustin Monk versus James Dupre. I only vaguely remember these two guys. I remember James was a little Billy Goatish and he got a 4-chair turn, but neither of them really stood out to me. The song Adam gave them for their battle was Fortunate Son, but I guess he wanted to rattle their nerves in front of John Fogerty. I was kind of bored with the song choice and kind of bored with the battle. I thought Dustin did a better job. James was kind of like watching Joel Osteen tries to sing a country song, so I didn't really get it, but as is usually the case, Adam went with the one that I liked the least when he declared James the winner. And the last battle on Monday night was Team Blake again with Barrett Baber versus Dustin Christensen. Now, Barrett is the dude that survived a plane crash and got a 4-chair turn, and Dustin is the bearded fellow that got a 4-chair turn after singing a Rod Stewart song. Remember Blake said that he sounded like Neil Diamond, even though he really didn't? The song he gave them for their battle was Walkin' in Memphis. Pretty plain old song choice if you ask me, but whatever. You knew they were both going to make it through since they'd been talking about the steal of the night before the commercial break. They both did fine. Barrett looked like he was a little constipated while he was singing though. I thought he was going to burst a vessel, and Dustin sounded like he was a little constipated, so it was kind of a draw for me. Blake ended up going with Barrett, and Adam stole Dustin. Gwen tried to get in on the action. Ain't nobody gonna go with Gwen unless they absolutely have to. First up on Tuesday night was Team Adam again with Keith Simple versus Manny Cabo. Keith was the Irish guy that auditioned with a Bon Jovi song, and Manny is the photographer that sang an old 80s song to pretty much a couple of old 80s cover band guys. The song Adam gave them to duke it out with was Baba O'Reilly. I thought they both sounded a mess during rehearsal. Probably wasn't a very good song choice for them, but what do you really expect coming from Adam Levine? When they hit the stage, I knew it was over for Manny when he encouraged the audience to sing before he ever sang, "Dude, it's you, not them that's supposed to be singing." They sounded kind of alike, actually, but I wanted to tie Keith's hands down because he was so overdramatic with all the hand movements. Adam likes drama, though, so he went with Keith. Next up is Team Blake again with Chris Crump versus Krista Hughes. Now, I barely remember either of them, but of course I often do get audition amnesia during the battles. There's just so many people. The song Blake gave them to battle with was When I Get Where I'm Going. I guess he felt obligated to give somebody a Brad Paisley song since he was actually there. I thought they sounded pretty pleasant together. He sounded more pleasant than she did. Her voice was a little harsh on the ears at times, so no surprise Blake went with Chris. Next up, Gwen Stefani got half her team montaged again, just like in the auditions. I didn't even jot down who it was. She might get one more battle shown this season, poor thing. And the last of the week was Team Pharrell again with Ivonne Acero versus Siahna M. Now, Ivonne was the returnee from last season, and Siahna was the quirky girl that prides herself on being wacky. The song Pharrell gave them to battle with was You Keep Me Hanging On. Really, Pharrell? Somebody told me that he became a better coach during the season that I didn't watch, but I'm not sure if I believe that now, what with all these dusty, drafty old song choices of his, so I kind of hated it. I didn't like either one of them, but you knew the last one of the night and the last one of the week was going to be a steal. Blake scavenged Ivonne. But who really cares? Of course, once again, Gwen tried to get in on the action, but they never go with her when they have a choice. So that was it for week one. I really don't like the battle, so I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other, but I'll probably drop in next weekend for the next week of the battles until the live shows start, and then I'll try to get back on the night of schedule. But, you know, I'm getting old. It's hard for me to stay awake past 10 o'clock to review a show, especially when it's a show I didn't really enjoy too much. So, anyway, leave me a comment and let me know what you thought about the show, and I'll see y'all back here next weekend.